dishwashers. Dishwashers are so awesome. You don't have to wash your own dishes.
That's not what we're doing.
Alright, on our checklist, now we've done the RV antifreeze in the system. We've got that all taken care of. We're not done yet. We still have a few other things on our winterizing checklist. Very important things to remember. On the LP system, we want to make sure that our LP is turned off. Believe it or not, they do empty out over the winter if your system hasn't been checked in a while. It's possible that they leak out and come back in the spring to get it summerized, and you have no LP. So a good thing is to shut the valves off. Another thing is the battery. We recommend taking it off. You don't have to. We have all kinds of customers that say they leave them on during the winter and you don't have any problems. With the winters we've been having, no, it's not a bad idea to take them off, put them in the house or down in the basement, wherever.
This is going to be a brief video to help you with your winterizing and installing a pump converter winterizing kit. This is a very common kit made by Camco. Now the reason why you put this on is so that you don't have to access your water pump and undo the line to it in order to put in your antifreeze. It's going to be most common to have this installed in an area where it's very difficult to reach the water pump, where it's underneath a counter or behind something where every year you have to lie down or get in a very difficult spot in order to get to it. So for this installation, what all you're going to do is remove the line, go into the water pump. So this is the one normally that you put a hose onto, going into your antifreeze jug. Now you're going to take the valve that comes in the kit here, and there is a C on it here, and it has instructions in the back that's where your female to female adapter is going to go. It's on the C side. Okay, and I already put Teflon tape on both of these here. This one here for the hose does have a rubber on this inlet, so it's not as critical for that. So now I'm going to screw this onto the inlet side of your water pump, and we're going to tighten that down. Okay, now I would take this hose here and just put it right back on, and a lot of times, like in this situation, there is enough hose in order to do that. Okay. Now I will put the antifreeze line on here. Okay. Now all those connections I would tighten a little bit more, maybe with a small adjustable wrench to make sure that they're all snug. I would water test it, you know, with water to make sure that there's no leaks anywhere. But at this point here, you have this valve here. This valve, when it's perpendicular with a pipe here, would work just like normal, either using your water pump or in regular mode, or if you're going to winterize, you just turn this valve up, stick this into your jug of antifreeze, and you are ready to winterize. So a short amount of time for installation, and later on when you go to winterize, especially in those difficult areas, it's going to save you all that much time every year from then on to winterize your camper?
When winterizing the toilet, in your typical RV toilet, it's in part of the pressurized system. One other consideration is the toilet. If you have a household style toilet, a flush type toilet that flushes 1.6 gallons of water, it's different than this. You have to drain that completely, drain the tank completely, and then fill up the tank with antifreeze. That usually takes a minimum of a gallon, sometimes 2, and then you want to flush that just like you would. That flushes out the bowl and the P-trap that's built into the toilet. Also, household type water heaters, you have to consider that. Those are drained separately. Similar to an RV type water heater, but a little bit different. Some of them have bypasses on them, some of them you have to put a separate bypass in. That was discussed earlier on different types of bypassing. So whichever one you have, if you ever have any questions about it, feel free to call Greeneway. Ask for the service technicians and tell them why you're calling, that you're doing winterizing. You have some questions about household type fixtures. Now, one last thing on the toilet. We've been finding is the vacuum breaker on the back of it seems to be a weak link on the entire pressurized system. So what we recommend to do here is, when you get pink to come out of the valve here, go in and press it just for an extra couple seconds. What that does is works that antifreeze into the bottom of that vacuum breaker. Just a little bit of added security for the back of that pump. We don't like to see that, but that's where we've been finding a lot of issues after the system's been winterized, and we found that is a weak link.
Okay, one important part when it comes to winterizing that is very easy to forget, and many people do, is an outdoor kitchen, which is more and more popular in campers. Anywhere from this larger outdoor kitchen to a small one that still has a sink in it. You cannot forget to winterize your outdoor kitchen, hot and cold on the sink, as well as outdoor showers, which are very, very common. Usually easy to forget again because they're on the off-door side, the opposite side of the camper. And then some campers do have an outdoor water spigot, like you hook up your garden hose to or what have you. That's another one that's easy to forget, and just want to make sure that that's on your list of things to winterize with your specific camper.
Okay, another consideration is a newer invention that they put on a lot of the newer campers is a black tank flush. There's add-ons that you can put on, or there's black tank flushes that are built into the new units. They do have a check valve in them, and when you hook your water up here and you flush your black tank, it's possible that that valve maintains a little bit of water, and it's recommended that you pump that out. Now, you can either get a pump similar to the one that we have in the camper, or a hand type pump, which we sell here roughly in the $15 range. And what you would do with that is have your jug of antifreeze here, hook the pump up to the black tank flush, pump it several times until you get some antifreeze into it.
Okay, when it comes to winterizing, there's a couple other things that should be discussed. Some people have washer and dryers that they're using in their units, and also some few destination campers have dishwashers and or park models. So with both of those items, dishwashers and washer dryers, you're going to run it into a cycle. Okay, now a lot of times you can turn them on into a rinse cycle, so that you see a good steady flow of pink come into the unit. With a dishwasher, there's usually only one inlet valve, which is usually hot, to handle it with our RV dishwashers. With a washer dryer, there is going to be a hot and a cold, so you need to turn it on rinse in a hot and rinse in a cold cycle to make sure that you get it through both of those valves. Now, once you get a good steady pink into both of those items, then you can usually fast forward to the end of the cycle where it'll kick that back out of the system, or just let it run continuously and shut off your water pump to stop it. But you need to get it so that it'll kick that antifreeze back out of the system and out the drain. If you're not sure if there's enough antifreeze down the drain of, let's say, a washing machine, there is a location for the washer and dryers that you can unscrew a plug and pour a little bit of antifreeze down it to get into the P-trap, to make sure that there is enough antifreeze in there displacing the water so that it doesn't freeze. But those are a few specifics on washer dryers and dishwashers in RVs.
Also a good idea, on the inside, this is also on our checklist. Make sure that you have all of your cupboards empty, no food in there for the vectors like the mice and the red squirrels. To come in and get it, they can smell through these walls. They know that there's food in here, they're going to come in. It's a good idea to make sure you take all of that out for the winter, put it back in the spring. You could take your refrigerator, find a way. RV type refrigerators are a little easier to block open. The home type like this, there's a ton of different ways you can do it. Put towels in it, whatever. Just keep those open so that they don't get mold and mildew in them. Another good thing, close the shades. The shades on these just happen to be the day-night shades. Close those. Keeps that sun from beating down on your fabrics and having those fade. And then last but not least is to do your overall inspection of the exterior. Make sure that you don't have any cracks in the die-core. Make sure that your seals are all good on the outside. If you do have slide outs, it's not a bad idea to close them up. It exercises the mechanicals underneath it, gets everything moving, and it also prevents any damage that might happen to the exterior during the winter.